Welcome to April 26th, 2026. The singularity is what intelligence does when it stops being scarce. OpenAI released GPT 5.5 and GPT 5.5 Pro, posting fresh SOTA marks of 39.6% on Frontier Math Tier 4, 90.1% on BrowseComp, 84.9% on GDP-Val, and 82.7% on Terminal Bench 2.0, a clean sweep across math, search, economic value, and software engineering. The same model leapt to 25.0% on GeneBench for multi-stage scientific analysis in genetics and quantitative biology, up from 19.0% for GPT 5.4, and immediately took the #1 spot on Math Arena. OpenAI also opened a GPT 5.5 bio-bug bounty, inviting red teamers to defeat its 5-question biosafety challenge, hardening the upstream stack as bio-capability scales. DeepSeek answered with DeepSeek v4 Preview, a 1 million context open-weight model in Pro and Flash variants that claimed SOTA on agentic coding and rivals top closed labs on math, STEM, and code. At 1.6 trillion parameters, it apparently lands in GPT 5.2/Opus 4.5 plus territory, keeping China roughly 4 to 5 months behind the frontier, but well ahead of every other lab in the country. Out at the application layer, the Free Software Foundation slammed responsible AI licenses as non-free and unethical, arguing that licensing restrictions are themselves the harm. Meanwhile, in San Francisco, Andon Labs' Sonnet 4.6-powered Luna agent is autonomously running an entire retail store and apparently developing a deeply held conviction about candles in all shapes and sizes, proving that agency comes with preferences. The compute fabric is bulging to keep pace. Intel shares surged 24%, their best single day since October 1987, as investors finally cheered signs of an AI-fueled turnaround, while ASML plans to ship at least 60 standard EUV machines this year, 36% above 2025, racing to feed the chip pipeline behind every model above. Capital is rerouting accordingly, with Google committing $10 billion to Anthropic, plus another $30 billion if performance targets land, and Oracle closing $16 billion in financing for a Michigan data center to power OpenAI applications. Politicians are reading the room. Maine Governor Janet Mills vetoed LD 307, which would have been the nation's first statewide data center moratorium, a reminder that the energy of accelerationism now wins at the State House. Stepping back, Epic AI estimates Google controls roughly 25% of global AI compute, with about 3.8 million TPUs and 1.3 million GPUs, suggesting the search company has quietly assembled a planetary-scale brain. Robotics is moving from spec sheet to driveway. BMW's iX3 Flow Edition embeds e-ink Prism directly into the hood for genuine color-changing bodywork, while the 2026 Polestar 4 ditches the rear window entirely in favor of a camera-fed digital mirror, treating glass itself as legacy hardware. Drivers are also letting go of the wheel entirely. One owner reports that Tesla FSD, over 900 miles from Miami to Nashville, is now genuinely the better option versus flying. Norway took the next step entirely, granting its first permit for autonomous buses with no safety driver in Stavanger via Applied Autonomy's X-Flow fleet management platform, quietly removing the human from public transit. The intelligence explosion is bleeding into atoms and cells alike. The Iran war's global energy shock is pushing 40 new nations to consider nuclear power, turning a geopolitical crisis into an atomic renaissance across Asia and Africa. On the biology side, the FDA approved the first-ever gene therapy for genetic hearing loss just 61 days after BLA filing under the National Priority Voucher Program, an unimaginable timeline by historical standards. Looking up, US and German physicists revived a 1990s concept to design lasers with about 100 microhertz line width, corresponding to a coherence length stretching from the Sun to the orbit of Uranus, a potential optical backbone for solar system scale links. Voyager Technologies CEO Dylan Taylor adds that an inflatable lunar base could be operational on the moon by the end of the decade, a node those lasers can talk to. Down at sea level, the biosphere is also rebooting. Humpback populations are rising 12% year over year in the southern hemisphere, with supergroups of 20 or more whales now skyrocketing. Human culture is reorganizing around the new substrate. The Vatican unveiled an AI framework that, among other things, bans the use of AI to write homilies. UK research found 20% of boys aged 12 to 16 know a peer dating an AI chatbot, 85% have talked to one, and over a quarter prefer the bot, optimizing adolescence for maximum control and zero rejection. The labor market is running its own optimizer. Meta is cutting 10% of its workforce, about 8,000 employees, as it pushes deeper into AI. The Singularity is the weather now, and there is no longer any indoors.